And from that, we feel that we can go after a $50 trillion financial contract industry.
Inventory management systems on the accounting side really didn't exist until the mid-90s when Great Plains did it, and then Oracle and other people copied that off of them.
Right.
But you're seeing the same thing with intangibles, and I think that Casper is going to be the chain of record for intangibles, just given the attributes it has and,
Right.
and the ease to work with it. And the truth is you get no pushback when you come in with Casper. Certainly helps to have IBM on your team as well. But the just ease of use and ease of doing business with them is what's key for us.
Hey, what's up guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I wanted to go through some very important Casper highlights, different developments, different partnerships, and then also go over some recent concerns or FUD, typically like we see during multi-year bear markets. There's a bull run for 6 months, followed by a 2 to 3 year bear market. During that time, and prices crash or just consolidate. Anytime that happens, it's called a scam. When prices are going up, it's called a good project. In reality, when we actually start to see price action of different altcoins in different cryptos starting to do a 2, 3, 5x return, then I get a lot more cynical. But right now, during a bear market, in accumulation at bear market lows, or if we crash, I'm personally just accumulating in high conviction plays with actual projects that have, one, real funding, maybe even an enterprise run rate, so they're actually making money and they're not simply relying on some ICO they did a few years ago. I monitor real code commits and actual developments. Are they hitting their roadmap? Are they still building? Are they presenting? Are they launching partnerships? And things like that. If prices crash for any project and I see that they're not active and they're not building, then I get nervous. But provided they're still developing, they're launching new partnerships, different things like that, I'm personally very confident, especially when the bull run returns. So really quick, by X Frontier, we had that video clip I shared in the beginning of this video. This was at the SALT conference. So SALT is a huge conference for the world's biggest companies. Fortune 500 CEOs, executives, government leaders are attending this. This is not some NFT New York conference, not to bash them. These are massive governments, Fortune 500 CEOs, and industry leaders all presenting and talking about a variety of topics, including finance, DeFi, and even tokenization. Now, SALT is actually sponsored by a firm called Skybridge. They are a $3.5 billion fund, and they are a strategic partner for CasperLabs. And the founder of CasperLabs, Anthony Scaramucci, has said verbatim they're going to be helping CasperLabs cement and further establish relationships and partnerships with companies in the Fortune 2000. And what Anthony said verbatim was, if Casper can simply get 50 of the Fortune 2000 companies, it will become an industry standard. I think that's a big deal. I believe in a multi-chain future. I'm not a maxi. I hold a variety of assets. I've had 100x returns in crypto, very few, but I've also been down 90%. I've experienced multiple bear markets, I've seen green flags, I've seen red flags, and I personally believe, not financial advice, that Casper Network is one of the most legitimate enterprise layer ones in the entire space when it comes to account and governance features, upgradability, modular architecture, all types of things that we'll discuss in this video. If you guys want to learn more, feel free to check out on my YouTube channel under the Casper playlist as well. So really quick, shared by the X Frontier, we had this gentleman, Sanjay, the CEO of Nucleus Finance. Now, Nucleus Finance is a joint venture with CasperLabs and Ariadne, a business analytics firm. They're based in Switzerland, just like Casper, and you can see that Nucleus Finance right here is presenting at the SALT conference. This is one of the biggest conferences in the world. And in that clip in the beginning of the video, they said the financial contract industry is a $50 trillion market opportunity for tokenization. Now, we've discussed the benefits of tokenization of financial contracts and cash flows in previous videos, so be sure to check that out. But they are leveraging the Actus standard. This is one of the 3 largest data standards in the entire world, one of which is also ISO. A lot of XRP community members are familiar with Swift messaging in ISO 222. But we can see Actus is another massive standard, and soon to be part of the ISO standard. Now, out of any project, I've only seen CasperLabs actually working with Actus, so if you guys have any other L1s or other projects that are working with the Actus standard specifically, please let me know. And remember, Actus covers 98% of all financial activity in the world. So going to nucleusfinance.com, guys, I encourage you guys to check out this website, and just remember right here, Actus, and then we also have Casper. So Nucleus Finance is built on Casper Network. Notice though, Nucleus Finance is chain agnostic and utilizes the chain most suited for the occasion. And any technology that wants to be adopted should be chain agnostic. It shouldn't be married to anything, but just remember that Nucleus Finance is a joint venture with CasperLabs, so in my opinion, Casper Network will be one of the main primary chains for computation. Now, Nucleus Finance also partnered with WM.Service for tokenization as a service. WM.Service opens up its well-known high-performance interface infrastructure for crypto securities, discussing smart financial contracts with Casper, or SFC. So WM.Service is the central authority and data provider for the global financial market, so these are not small organizations by any means. We can see a joint venture with CasperLabs and then CasperLabs right there. And I also shared this clip found by X-Frontier of IPWE. This is Eric, and he basically said that he believes Casper Network will be the chain of intangible assets. And just thinking back to IPWE and IBM out of any L1 in the space, although they are a governing council member on Hedera, they chose Casper for this patent deployment specifically for a variety of reasons. And to be clear, I love HBAR, it's in my top 4 holdings alongside Casper, but this is a big deal. And IPWE is not some small organization. They have one of the largest patent portfolios in the entire world. Their patents include Nike, Toshiba, Koch Industries, and maybe even Porsche. And what was interesting discussing Porsche, their patent portfolio for Porsche is larger than the entire market capitalization of Porsche. So my point is there are trillions of dollars that have yet to be tokenized for monetization efforts, for more efficient markets, different types of transactions, all types of stuff. And one last point I want to make that I've talked about before we dive into some FUD and address some concerns is the S&P 500, one of the largest indices in the world, is valued at over $30 trillion in terms of market capitalization. Approximately 30% of that $30 trillion is patents or IP. So this is a huge market, at least $10 trillion plus. And with Casper's initial deployment that they should be starting this month, last time I heard, is that's going to be $7 to $10 billion on the public network of Casper. So next up, we have X-Frontier right here. So the Casper CEO, Renal, in the subscription model approach rolling out in Casper 2.0. So I saw X-Frontier share something, and I believe a lot of people just started panicking and freaking out. And this reminds me a lot of when Q&T was at $3 a few years ago, and they were talking about different subscription models. There was so much FUD, everybody called Q&T a scam. They said, you don't actually need Q&T to run a license. You don't need it to access Overledger, the operating system, and basically have access to all of these MDApps across the board in that whole ecosystem. And I remember when Q&T was at $3, people were telling me, hey man, you might want to sell, because I did some videos on it. And they were telling me, be careful, it's a scam. And this was back in 2018. The community was very small. Yes, there is price appreciation for anybody that got in super early. I didn't. I mean, in the scheme of things, I did. And to be honest, I don't have the largest Q&T bag today. I still hold some for the long term, but just keep in mind from its all-time low up to its all-time high, from under $1 to over $400, this was over a 2000x return from its all-time low. We can see multiple 90% crashes here, and during this time, it's a scam. Sell your bags. Q&T isn't needed, blah, blah, blah. And they're presenting with Swift. I believe Q&T is legitimate, and I just believe that crypto projects are volatile. When assets crash or consolidate in a range for 2 to 3 years, being down 90%, a lot of people are calling it scams. And just like, I think I have it right up here, there's all types of articles. Quant Network is a scam, 2020. Talking about Q&T accessing Overledger, and if developers decide to monetize their applications, they can charge subscriptions in Q&T or fiat or any other digital currency, because they want to be agnostic. They want to open up the doors to different subscription models and charges, and things like this, people freak out and they say, oh no, Q&T isn't needed, it's a scam. And this is the same thing we're seeing for Casper right now, and I'm not surprised at all. If you guys think FUD is crazy during a bear market, wait until the bull run when everybody's just having FOMO and different alts are doing a 2, 3, or 5x in a single month. Even just last year in 2022, we had Zilliqa and Waves also do a 6 to 8x return in roughly 30 days. So X-Frontier just sharing, again, the idea is to bring massive amounts of computation onto Casper's public network, whether it's a public, a hybrid, or a private chain. It's secured by Casper's public network. The Casper token is required. There's not some backdoor. There's not any other token that's required for computation. Again, for any FUDsters that just think everything's a scam, it is in Casper Network's best interest to have a valuable token which makes the network more secure. It's modular. As Casper sees that adoption, that computation and high levels of transactions, the price of Casper typically goes up per Econ 101, creating scarcity. Now, when this happens, if the fee of Casper for transfers, 0.1, or the undelegating fee of 2.5 is too high, they can vote with the validators and put in a proposal and change that. So the network is designed to be future-proof and adapt and be versatile as necessary. So once again, more adoption leads to more transactions, more computation. Just like the CEO of Casper says, think of Casper's token as an AWS credit, like Amazon Web Services in the cloud ecosystem. So the CEO of Casper just emphasizing Casper always is required for compute or computation. The Casper 2.0 upgrade coming makes this process seamless and makes adoption easier and more consistent with what businesses are used to, and this will result in more overall usage. And just discussing the subscription model right here, it just means you can create an easy fiat-based mechanic to acquire gas for computation. If anything, this increases the usage of the underlying protocol. The full feature details will be shared soon. So this is very similar to Q&T, and I feel like I'm having deja vu. And half these guys on Twitter and YouTube that just write blogs or call everything a scam, let's be clear, there are a lot of scams in crypto. 99% of all the projects in the entire crypto space, especially on CoinMarketCap, are trash. And with that being said, not financial advice, I don't believe Casper is a scam by any means. I believe any of these crypto projects, even the most legitimate, I mean Bitcoin's called a scam, Ethereum's called a scam. The Ethereum Foundation has done things that I'm not particularly fond of, such as selling the top multiple times, and this is proven and public. And again, Ethereum is not a scam. And I'm 100% open to anybody questioning things and, asking those hard to ask questions. You can go right on Twitter, you can tag Meta, the Casper CTO, or other Casper executives, and ask them questions. And they'll answer when they have time. You can go right into the official Casper Telegram, beware of scams, and you can ask the CEO, you can ask the CTO, and ask for any valid concerns to be addressed, and look at the good and the bad, because there's good and bad in every single investment. Some investors say there are no good assets, only opportunity. In the crypto asset class, as we've seen for the past 10 years for Bitcoin and then other alts as well, is massive pumps, multi-year bear market, 90% crash. Massive pumps, sometimes multi 100% or 1000% moves, followed by another crash. So I encourage everybody to stay cautiously optimistic or completely cynical. Be very skeptical with any information presented. Even stuff I share here, go Google it, see if you can find it. Go right to the Casper Telegram or on Twitter and contact the Casper team and ask for clarity for any valid concerns, because all concerns are valid, but there's a way to approach it and get information. There's a lot of people that just start getting information and sharing it, and it's completely false. Everything I share in this video, I can show you where I've gotten it from. I can show you the source. And I try my best for anything I share here to reference where I got that information from, or you can at least find it in my previous videos. There was a lot of concerns about this because they didn't understand the subscription model for Casper and computation. Anytime there is a use case and they are connected to the Casper public chain, whether it's a block hash or anything in between, it is required to have Casper for computation as a gas token. I tweeted the other day of different interviews with Meta, the Casper CTO, discussing their plans to provide a hybrid trust layer as a service to enterprise customers. So this would make all the private enterprise chains layer 2s or L2s on top of Casper's public mainnet. So I thought this was really cool. I know Casper 2.0 is getting block times up to 4 seconds, but private chains with less validators can reach consensus like that, so it's a lot more scalable. And this still requires Casper, even if it's just used for block hashes on the public chain for security, which is a unique identifier for each block. And this means computation for the Casper token period for transactions, hashes, and bridges. If I do not see utility in a token, I'm not buying it, period. And I see utility with Casper if they get that success case. And sorry if I'm sounding blunt, guys, but I've just seen it too much. There are legitimate people in this space. Why is CasperLabs at Washington, D.C. performing on stage with Actis and discussing the tokenization of these financial contracts? Why are they working with the largest Swiss banks? Why is Casper Network being used by the Blockchain Service Network in China for smart cities and permission networks? Why is the Casper Association working with Credit Agricole, one of the largest banks in the world by assets under management, discussing tokenization? These are not scams. Just because crypto is volatile and you can see a 90% crash or a 10x return in a very short period, it's just a nascent asset class. It doesn't mean it's a scam. Just because your emotions are high, it doesn't mean something's a scam. So it just blows my mind when there are legitimate projects. You can see their funding, you can see their presentations, you can see their network and their actual architecture. And these people online are calling everything a scam. There's a lot of scams, but when you go after legitimate networks and call them a scam, I just facepalm, because half of these guys that are calling everything a scam are likely young people living in their parents' basement. Maybe they never worked in the corporate environment. They don't understand the enterprise sales cycle or government sales cycle, and it just kind of surprises me. Also, really quick regarding Casper staking and APY, so this auto compounds for the staking rewards. So when you go to CSPR.live, we can see the total Casper supply right there. 94% is in circulation, so right there. To basically derive this APY, you take the total supply and you divide it by the total stake bonded right there of 8.5 billion. So today, 72% of the total supply is stake bonded. And the higher the percentage of this amount right here shows faith in the network, as a huge amount of participants are delegating or staking to secure the network. So to determine this APY, which fluctuates currently at 11% APY, we can see you take the total supply, you divide that by the total stake bonded, and when you get that number, you multiply it by 0.08, the inflation rate, and you will get the APY. So today, with 72% in total stake bonded, the APY, or staking rewards, is at 11% over the inflation rate, which is really good. Comparing HBAR, which their staking is also solid, it's capped at 6.5%, so nearly double what some other popular chains are offering. Now let's say total stake bonded in the future fell down to 50%. It just lost over 20%. People are losing faith in the network maybe. They don't want to secure their stake in Casper, or there's better opportunities. The staking APY would actually increase to roughly 16% from 11%. Now on the other hand, let's say everybody has faith in Casper, they're securing the network, and the total stake bonded increased from 70% all the way up to 90%. So there's more people staking. Now the staking APY would actually decrease down to 8.8%. So this is a big range of 50% to 90%, and you're seeing staking rewards between 8.8% to 16%. And in my experience, we've seen Casper settle for a couple years now around 10% year round, which is very cool. And of course, if Casper goes to 10 cents, 20 cents, $1, those staking rewards are going to be juicy. All right, a few more things, guys, because I know this video is getting long, but props to anybody that's sticking around for this. So just regarding CasperLabs, they have over 40 engineers. A project in the top 100, that's actually pretty hard to find. There's a lot of projects in the top 20, top 50 that have nowhere near 40 plus full-time engineers. So X-Frontier just highlighting Casper versus Ethereum and future Ethereum upgrades. And again, per previous videos, Ethereum, in my opinion, is here to stay, but it doesn't mean there's not going to be other L1s that can help complement or even compete with its ecosystem. And just looking at what Casper Network has live today across the board for contract versioning, protocol versioning, weighted key management, continuous integration and deployment, meta transactions, and flexible code, upgradability. And to do that for Ethereum, you just can't. It would take months to repair or even just upgrade metadata and an NFT, which should be very basic. With Casper Network deployments, you can be mutable or you can be immutable. It's just super flexible for enterprises. And even for Ethereum 3.0, last I heard, I mean, they're at least 3-4 years away from even reaching 3.0, and Casper has all of those features live in mainnet today. Now this was really cool. We have Fever Tokens, Casper Association, and Credit Agricole, a huge investment bank. And they are studying Web3 use cases regarding tokenization. In the X Frontier right here, we have the Casper Association partnering with Fever Tokens and Credit Agricole to focus on use cases related to tokenization of finance. And this is the banking arm of Credit Agricole Group right there. Credit Agricole is the 11th largest bank in the world in terms of assets, over 2.31 trillion, behind Citigroup. This serves 52 million customers across 49 countries. And Fever Tokens offering no-code solutions that makes customized advanced smart contracts and building Web3 apps exceedingly easy for everyone. Now what's also very interesting is Casper Network built their own virtual machine, their VM, from scratch, and they're using WASM or WebAssembly. And we also know that Ethereum is planning to implement their own version of eWASM in the coming years. So that's very important to understand. It's not just attracting Web3 developers. We're trying to get the dozens of millions of developers that are still in Web 2. We can see Casper Network is integrated into Validation Cloud's Node API as well. And this is one of my favorite threads by the X Frontier, just a basic overview of Casper and just a few things I do want to touch on regarding partnerships. Remember that CasperLabs has roughly 45 NDAs with Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 clients, so a few use cases, of course, include Nucleus Finance and IPWE we've talked about a bunch of times, but Advasa is super interesting. I encourage you guys to check it out. The X Frontier on YouTube has some awesome videos going over this. So this is essentially leveraging Casper to provide blockchain payroll solutions for payments to employers in the United States. So definitely check out this video that he has right here. This is the X Frontier on Twitter as well. I'm sure you can find it if you just search in Twitter something like this verbatim and it'll pull it right up. And just a reminder that this use case is a big deal. A lot of companies have been looking at this and implementing this for years. And this is not some small organization or mom and pop shop that is just, a partnership being highlighted like that. This is a huge organization. Also, Tokenizer just pointing out Casper listed with these telecom leaders in China. So Chengdu Chain, guys, they chose Casper, as you can see right there, for the blockchain service network for permission chains in smart cities. So you have the government of Telangana in India using Casper. We have smart cities that are building on Casper in China. There's a variety of ecosystems even throughout the Middle East. And just remember that Casper is SOC 2 compliant, an upgradable virtual machine, upgradable smart contracts, access control with account permissions model, on-chain governance, and a professional services team for consultancy. So they have a phone number for enterprise clients to contact them for help or if anything goes wrong. There's a lot of other chains that might be completely open, but they don't have a phone number to call. For enterprise adoption, I don't care if you say, oh, well, this is centralized, or Hedera Hashgraph is centralized because it's an enterprise DAO of the top companies in the world. I get that. But if you want to see enterprise adoption, you need some type of centralization or at least professional services teams to help this. And remember, the enterprise market that we talk about on this channel for years is the largest market in the world, and it is the least penetrated market in the entire blockchain space. So bottom line, we have not seen what utility of enterprise applications can do. We've gotten a taste for some projects, but there are so many people that were here during Web 2 and they saw the growth of all of these companies in the 90s and the early 2000s. And they believe the crypto asset class, which today is at 1 trillion in terms of market cap, its all-time high was 3 trillion. They're projecting in the coming years and decades next to internet users that we are going to be seeing dozens of trillions of dollars unlocked into the crypto asset class. For tokenization, DeFi, supply chain, payment use cases, tracking, etc. And remember that CasperLabs was highlighted on NASDAQ with WiseKey and SpaceX. So Casper, fun fact, has the first NFT in history that was minted from space with WiseKey and WiseSat in SpaceX. We'll talk about invoicing in the next video because this is getting kind of long. And I do want to share that CasperLabs is on the World Economic Forum's website and they were chosen as a partner. So no, I do not like the WEF and all of their phrases about you will own nothing and be happy with BlackRock, but we can see CasperLabs joining the WEF's Global Innovators community as a blockchain and digital assets partner. So CasperLabs will be teaming up with a global consortium dedicated to educating the market on adoption best practices. Just remember Skybridge, $3.5 billion fund, being a strategic partner with CasperLabs, but do not forget about Al Mascari. This is a huge holdings company related to the royal family in Abu Dhabi. Also saw today the American Crypto Academy did an AMA, and I actually caught just the very end of it. We can see Ralph right here, board director at the Casper Association. Last but not least, feel free to check out the Linux Foundation and all of their members. You can see some of the world's largest companies: Microsoft, Meta, Red Hat, Samsung, VMware, Tencent, Oracle, Cisco, Toshiba, Uber, huge organizations side by side, Capital One, and CasperLabs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Huge thanks to all that hit the like button. Sorry if the quality is not so good for audio or if I crop some clips I shouldn't have. I'm just working on a small laptop today and I'm excited to get back so I can get back to content. So much love.